Last episode, we traveled back in time and defeated the Scarlet Crusade at the height of their power. In this episode, we're going to remain in the past and take on the classic version of the Scholomance Academy. I want to clear up some confusion quickly. The Scarlet Key item that allowed us to access the old Scarlet Monastery last episode was not bought on the auction house by Dunstock. The effects that allow you to access the old dungeons are account-wide. So, all I did was buy the key on my main, and then all the characters on my account, including Dunstock, are able to access the old version of Scarlet Monastery. And that's also the case for accessing old Scholomance. But it's a little trickier this time. You see, we can't just buy the item we need off the auction house. Instead, you need an item from a rare inside Scholomance that has like a 1% chance of spawning during heroic runs. In my spare time, I was running this dungeon with a lot of ults, but I wasn't able to get it. But there is a silver lining here. You see, all you need is one person in the dungeon to have the item. I don't actually have to get it. So I turned to someone that has literally any item you could want. Nabble, the Zonelocked guy. He's super nice and I really appreciate him helping me out with this, and you should check out his Zonelocked series to repay him for making this video possible. With his help, I was able to complete the requirements and unlock old Scholomance for my entire account. With the requirements out of the way, let's get into how Scholomance became a school of necromancy. Caldera, a mighty island fortress in the heart of what's now called the Plague Lands. The fortress stood proud until the Horde invasion arrived. Orcs stormed the island and seized the powerful artifacts the fortress held. Fun fact about these artifacts actually, Gul'dan would use them to instill magic into the ogres, allowing them to become magi. But back to Caldera itself. The fort stood occupied by the orcs. That was until Uther and the Knights of the Silver Hand arrived to liberate it. They battled hard against the orcs and eventually defeated them, returning the fortress to human control. Sometime after its liberation, a powerful noble family called the Barovs would come into possession of the fortress, and from it they would rule the many settlements they owned, including Brill, Southshore, and Taranmill. Caldera became a very popular place for nobles and paladins to visit, hosting the likes of King Tyrannus and Tyrion Fordring. As time went on, the head of the Barov family, Alexei, grew greedy and desperate to hold on to the power he had. In a bid to retain this power, he reached out to the cult that had been causing unrest around the kingdom. The Cult of the Damned. He met with their leader, the mage Kel'Thuzad, and they struck a deal. Alexei agreed to allow the Cult of the Damned to occupy the catacombs under Caldera, and in exchange Kel'Thuzad would extend their lifespans and allow them to retain control of their titles after the Scourge took over Lordaeron. Over time, Kel'Thuzad would turn the once noble tombs beneath the fortress into Scholomance, a school that taught the unholy art of necromancy to the Cult of the Damned. On the surface, the Barovs still maintained the rich noble family facade, hosting barons, lords, and paladins, while the unholy experiments were carried out below them. In a not-so-shocking twist, Kel'Thuzad was not completely honest with them. He ambushed and transformed Alexei into a Death Knight, bound to the Scourge's will, and tested a new plague by unleashing it on the island, killing all of its residents, including Alexei's wife and daughter. But this strain of the plague was special. It also turned all it killed into ghosts that now haunt the island. Now, in present time, the fortress is still an academy for the dark arts, but Kel'Thuzad has moved on to bigger things. In his absence though, he employed a necromancer named Gandling to run the academy in his place. So who better to break up a school of dark magic than a man whose favorite class was lunch? So I use Ava's enchanted journal to load into old Scholomance, and not much else to do at the beginning here but start clearing out trash. Does actually do a lot of damage, like the crippling, not the crippling, the shadow bolt, I don't know why I said the crippling, actually hits pretty damn hard.
I'm out of range. It's too far away.
God, my inventory's such like a mess to look at. Oh my god, plate shoulders. Yeah. Oh yeah, those are some upgrades. And their plate. Nice, and they match our tabard. We're looking pretty spiffy. Okay, well, time for the first boss. The first boss of the dungeon is Jandis Barov, the firstborn of the Barov family. In life, she was a powerful mage and illusionist, but after the plague ravaged the island, she died and was turned into a ghost. Now, her spirit is bound and she teaches her powerful magics to the students of Scholomance. Jandis' first ability is Curse of Blood, which increases the physical damage you take by a good chunk for 10 minutes. This is kinda scary, not gonna lie. Then, her next ability is Dark Plague, which deals a burst of initial damage, then ticks damage over the next 2 minutes. And finally, her most iconic ability is the Illusion of Jandis Barov, where she splits into copies around the room and we have to figure out which one is the real her. Let's talk loot. Unlike classic Scarlet Monastery, Scholomance actually has some usable loot for us. Jandis can drop a pair of plate legs, which I would quite like. I think this one's going to be fairly straightforward, so let's give her a shot. I feel like I should probably clear these out. They don't seem to do a lot of damage though, so I think I'm okay leaving the clones up. It's just so many. Okay, they do go away. It's really easy to tell which one's her because her, like, health. Yeah, I lied. It's not easy to tell at all. It's this one. See, there's one with 11,000 health and the rest have 700. I think this is the coolest mechanic about it, is the splitting, but it's pretty easy to... She's stunnable, like, it's pretty easy to beat. Okay, I don't know where the real one is. I said this was the cool part. Oh, she's right here. And... Oh, they're all still on me. Jandis Barov dead. And all we got were some some cloth pants. Jandis was a pretty simple fight, but the clone mechanic was actually pretty fun. With her down though, it was time to return to my favorite hobby, clearing out trash. Let me show you a little trick. So if you want to get to the next boss, all you gotta do is drop through here. Oh my gosh, and you're right there. Okay, well, lost time. Our next boss is Rattlegore. He's a bone golem and is one of Dark Master Gantling's favorite creations. He's also a really basic fight. His main attack is Knock Away, which, well, knocks us away. Then he has Strike, which just deals a little extra damage compared to his auto attack. And finally he has Ward Stomp, which stuns us and knocks us away. I guess this guy just really likes sending us flying across the room. For drops, he's got a pair of plate boots. I really want these. I'm sick of having leather boots, honestly. But without further ado, let's rattle this guy. I love Rattlegore, like, aesthetically. Like, he's very iconic, but this fight is really easy. Like, there's not much challenge here. You just kind of stun him, and you just lay the beat down on him. And that should be Rattlegore. Dead. Nothing. Nothing. Viewing room key though, so we need to advance to the deeper part of the dungeon. Nothing good on drops so far. Maybe we're just cursed in the classic versions of these dungeons. Well, I mean, there's a lot of bosses left, so nothing to worry about. We still got plenty of chances. So after a pretty underwhelming fight with one of my favorite looking bosses, it was time to move into the deeper part of the dungeon. And while we do, I want to bring something up. You see, in the original Scholomance, there were 2 extra bosses that we aren't going to be able to do today. The first one is Death Knight Dark Reaver, which is a boss that would only be summoned during the Paladin class quest in Classic. The quest, along with any way to summon this boss, were fully removed in Cataclysm, making him impossible to fight today. The second boss is possible to summon, but not by us, and that's Cormac. Cormac is the spirit of an Ogre Magi that was only summonable with the item the Brazier of Invocation. Now, this item is still in the game, but is not obtainable. So if you don't already have it, there's no way to get it. So unfortunately, we will not be fighting this guy either. Anyways though, seems like we're nearing the next boss, so let's get back to the dungeon. Or, ooh, plate gauntlets. You know what, just because they're new, yeah. Throw those on me. Okay, Okay, so this is why we needed the key from Rattlegore. It opens this door into the rest of the dungeon. We arrive in here, and everyone is neutral. These guys up here are actually our next two bosses. So we're going to start with this guy. The next two bosses we're going to take on are Marduk Blackpool and Vectis. So let's start with Marduk. Marduk Blackpool is a Scourge Warlord responsible for the deaths of hundreds of people. But now I guess he just teaches gym here or something. He's got a pretty interesting moveset, as it's a mix of melee attacks and caster spells. His first ability is Cleave, which is just an arcing slash in front of him. Then there's Defiling Aura, which reduces the shadow resistance of his target. And to capitalize on the resistance going away, he has Shadow Bolt Volley, which just hits you with a bunch of shadow spells. His final ability is Shadow Shield, which reflects melee attacks and allows him to absorb 200 damage before the shield breaks. Loot-wise, this guy has some juicers. He's got the ever so desirable plate boots, alongside a pretty wicked looking one-handed sword. Let's hope we can get one or both of those drops. The other boss in this fight is Vectis. He's one of the main teachers of necromancy here, and he's been focusing on creating plague dragon whelps out of some eggs he had smuggled from the Burning Steppes. He's a very simple part of this fight. He's got two abilities. The first being Blast Wave, which is an AoE explosion that deals fire damage and reduces our move speed, and then Flame Strike, which blasts us and does fire damage to us over time. Vectis has no usable drops for us, so let's just skip over the loot. Well, that's the whole fight broken down, so let's just give her a shot. I'm gonna be real, I didn't think they both aggroed at once, so I guess we're fighting both. Yeah, I kind of panicked a little bit at first when I saw all like the students run up and the fact it's a duo fight. I thought you could fight them one-on-one, but this is really simple. Yeah, these guys, kind of a joke. I do kind of feel bad just jumping them though. They weren't attacking me here, they're just kind of vibing. Anything good? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Dang, I really wanted the sword Marduk Blackpool could drop. Well, you know, can't all be winners. Or really any of them in this dungeon so far, and the last dungeon. Another easy classic fight, and another fight of no loot. But with Marduk and Vectis defeated, it was time to head further underground into the laboratory. Ooh, through the big double doors. Hey, Disenchantment 1. If you believe me that I've literally never done enchanting before, yeah, there you go. Never done this profession a single time. Okay. Next boss time. The boss in the bottom of the laboratory is Ross Frostwhisper. In life, Ross was a mage from Stromgarde, and was one of the first to join Kel'Thuzad's Cult of the Damned. He actually personally mentored and groomed Gandalf for the Dark Master position. Now, Ross may sound like a pretty intimidating guy, but his abilities are pretty boring and tedious. First, he has Shell Nova, which damages us and reduces our movement speed. Next, he has a Fear, and then a Stun that damages us over time. And his final ability is Frostbolt Volley, that deals a bunch of damage to us and slows us. He makes up for his boring fight with his drops. He's got a pair of plate gloves, 2 one-handed weapons, and a shield. So, lots to look forward to here. Let's give this guy a shot. Yeah, this seems pretty easy. He hasn't really done much. All I've gotten is slowed from his passive shield. Oh my god. Fling me across the room. Jesus. I find a lot of these classic bosses, when you fight them now, like, they were designed for like to be able to be stunned and interrupted, but there's just so much interrupt in like a modern kit now. They literally just can't attack. Like, I haven't let this guy cast a single spell, except like that one because it's an insta-cast. But like anytime he tries to Frostbolt Volley or Freeze, I just kind of say no. You don't get to play the game. Oh my god, he finally got a spell off. I was really scared he was gonna fling me back into the group of trash by the entrance. Anything? Oh my god, dude. Where are the drops, man?
I don't have a target.
There's just nothing here for me. With Ross dead and none of the bosses we wanted obtained, it was time to move into the headmaster's study. Okay, time for what I like to call the gauntlet. Now, you may be wondering what I mean by the gauntlet. Here's how it works. To get the final boss to spawn, you must clear the boss in each of the 6 rooms that connect from the Grandmaster's study. So that means there's going to be a lot of bosses back to back to back. Get ready for a lot of boss breakdowns. But let's not waste any more time and head into the first boss room. Room full of trash, let's take it on. Oh my god, I panicked there. I lay on hands. Oh my god. The amount of, I might just die here. The amount of poison taking on me's nuts right now. Yeah, we're gonna have to, wait for this to go away. We can probably fight like one. Okay, pull the boss. We're doing the boss now. The first boss of the gauntlet is Lord Keeper Polkelt. He was once the Barrows family knowledge keeper, but he was driven to madness in his undeath by the experiments performed on him. His abilities are pretty simple. First is Corrosive Acid, which makes you take increased nature damage. Then he has Noxious Catalyst, which reduces your nature resistance. And finally, Volatile Infection, which takes nature damage over time. Not a crazy fight, he just kinda poisons you. Now, this is the only time I'm gonna go over loot for the gauntlet, as every boss has the same drop table. The notable drops are as follows: a ring drop, a one-handed weapon, and the entire Deathborn set, which would actually be pretty sweet to get a few pieces of. But on to Polkelt. See, what I don't get how the knowledge keeper of this place ended up with an arrow directly through his head and 2 arrows in oh my god, I can't talk, in his back. What experiments were they doing on this guy? Shooting him with a bow? Seems like it's not an experiment you need to do. Seems like you know what's gonna happen when you shoot a guy with an arrow. Okay, and that should be the first boss of the gauntlet. Done. And you guessed it. No drop. What? Who could have seen this coming? With Polkelt down, it was time to move 2 seconds down the hall to our next boss room. Alright, time for the second boss of the gauntlet. The next gauntlet boss is Dr. Theolin Krastanov. He's responsible for providing body parts to the necromancers of Scholomance. Yeah, he's just kind of chopping people up in here. One weird thing about the parts he provides is that they're always drained of blood for some reason. This is a very simple fight. He's got Backhand, which stuns you, Enrage, which increases attack speed, and Rend, which bleeds you. And of course, loot-wise, he has the same drops as Polkelt did. So let's just give him a shot. Oh, he's stun-proof. He does actually hurt a good amount. Like, he attacks pretty quick. Ow, he backhanded me. I've gone against my ways. I've opted not to use Shield of the Righteous at all this fight and just, only Word of Glory. Ooh, this Enrage is... might be a problem. Oh my god, he hurts so much. Oh, it's just a race. Can we kill him before he can kill us? Yeah, that's tough. If you're not, like, Paladin, and you don't have as many tools to like heal yourself and stuff. Like I almost ran out of mana there. Like that fight will be hard. Like he'll burn through you. We did get the Blood of the Innocents, which means we can do an additional boss later. And just like that, 2 gauntlet bosses already down. Now let's head towards our 3rd one and the last one of the top floor. Oh my god, she turned to a dark shade. Halfway through the gauntlet, 3rd boss. The last boss of the top floor is Instructor Melicia. She has very little lore, all I know is she's a teacher here. For ability she has Call of the Grave, which just does shadow damage to us. Then she has Corruption, which does damage to us over time. And then she has not 1, but 3 different abilities that just heal her. And finally her last ability, Slow, which reduces her move and attack speed. Seems pretty easy, let's just hope the healing isn't a nightmare to deal with. I just have to make sure she can't use her heals because I don't want this fight to go on longer than it needs to. So just make sure I save at least 1 interrupt at all times. This is a pretty easy fight though, I'm not gonna lie. She doesn't really do anything. Yeah, if you stop her from healing, this fight is just trading blows. Like she just autos me, I ability dump her. She's like, I'm gonna cast a spell. I go, no you're not. You're actually not allowed to cast spells anymore. And there we go. Can we get a drop? Oh. Hammer of the Vesper. I mean, I kind of have to just use it, right? 4 damage per sec. Yeah, I kind of just gotta use it, right? It's less critical strike, but you know, who needs that? And it looks sick. It's a backwards skull. And it's a drop. We've gotten a drop. Goodbye, Platinum Sword. You will be missed. I like that thing. Hammer of the Vesper. Upside down skull. The last boss of the top floor of the gauntlet down, and a new drop, it was time to head downstairs and take on the 3 bosses down there. Consuming shadows? What does that mean? I was just about to make a joke that it's funny that these guys are all walking around with staffs and they don't cast any spells, and that guy just shot up in the air and started consuming shadows. First boss of the bottom floor starts now. Our first boss of the bottom floor is Lady Alucia Barov, the wife of Lord Alexei Barov. She was killed by Scholomance's plague, and now her ghost is bound to serve Dark Master Gandling. Her first ability is Curse of Agony, which just damages us over time. Then is her scary ability, Dominate Mind, which I'm really hoping can't target us. Then she has a Fear, then her most basic attack, which is Shadow Bolt, that just blasts us for some damage, and finally she has a Silence, so she can turn off all of our abilities. Now, this fight should be pretty free as long as Dominate Mind can't target us, so let's give her a shot. Yeah, she has a mind control, but I'm kind of just hoping it's like White Mane and she never actually uses it. Because we can't stun her either, so it's not even like we can just keep her CC'd the whole time. I mean, she's under 50 now, so hopefully we can kill her before she decides to use it, or hopefully she just never uses it, but it seems to be going pretty well. I think a lot of these classic bosses can only use it on non-tanks, so that should be her dead. No drops, but you know. Another boss on the gauntlet down. 2 more to go. With Lucio down, it's time to head right next door to the next boss room. Time for the 5th boss, and he's the leader of the Barov family, yeah. The 5th boss of the gauntlet is Lord Alexei Barov. Alexei originally made a deal with Kel'Thuzad thinking it would secure his titles and give him power in the decades to come. But now he finds himself bound to the Scourge's will, guarding over his own family tomb. His fight is pretty simple. His first ability is Immolate, which hits us and then burns us over time. Then he has Unholy Aura, which makes us tick shadow damage while near him. Then his final ability is Veil of Shadow, which reduces our healing by 60%. This is a must interrupt or silence ability. We cannot be hit by this one or we'll likely die to the skeletons around him. I think as long as we're mindful of Veil of Shadows, this should be pretty easy, so let's go for it. Well, I think the strategy is focus down these guys first and then turn to him. So, okay, one skeleton down. He did drop a chest plate, I saw that. We may be cooked. He hit me with the thing he's not supposed to be out. I shouldn't let him hit me with. Okay, we can heal normally now. Okay, canceled it that time. That was close. Oh, that was so close. I was sure I was gonna die there. I misplayed so bad. Okay, almost there. 25%. And there we go. Dang. No drop. Yeah, plate chest piece. I can rock out with it. I know it gives me less critical strike and haste. Don't tell me about it in the comments, but I like equipping new things. It makes me feel cool. My playthrough. I can equip bad gear if I want. Where did I get this? Red firework rocket. Oh my god, that was beautiful. Can't believe we've been holding on to that this whole time. After beating a boss, getting a new chestplate, and seeing a beautiful firework display, it was time for things to go horribly wrong. Okay, we're fighting a million skeletons, I guess. Why did I pull all of these? This was such a mistake. I'm gonna die. Why did I do this? Okay. I got overconfident, guys. Oh my god, it spawns you out here? Don't do what I just did. I think I have to enter new Scholomance to get my body? Wait, what? How do I don't know, like I literally can't get into the dungeon. Oh my god, we're gonna have to go to Westfall to repair our gear. Hello, Lewis.
How are you?
I've returned. Okay, and we are finally back to Scholomance. Let's not die to 1 million skeletons this time. So while making my way back through Scholomance, I accidentally pulled this trash pack and hit level 21 while fighting it. And if level 18 meant we're a Wawadol, now we can officially drink our own mana potions. I ended up using my level 21 skill point on Inspiring Vanguard, which does the following. Grand Crusader's chance to occur is increased by 20% and it grants you 2% strength for 8 seconds. Quick refresher, Grand Crusader makes it so when I avoid a melee attack or use Hammer of the Righteous, I have a 15% chance to reset the remaining cooldown on Avenger's Shield. So this just gives some extra buffs to that and makes it more likely to occur. Now let's get back to those damn skeletons. And we're back. I'm gonna see if I can pull just this skeleton. See, pulling all those skeletons just made this room way more painful than it ever needed to be. Like, this wasn't hard at all. Okay, last boss of the gauntlet. Here we go. The final boss of the gauntlet is the Ravinian. He's a hulking monster that eats any students who aren't studying hard enough. Yep, that's his real lore. And honestly, this fight's so easy, I don't see how he was eating those students. His main ability is Sundering Cleave, which hits everyone in front of him and makes his attacks reduce armor. Then he has Trample, which just deals some damage to us. And finally he has Knock Away, which, you guessed it, knocks us away. This boss doesn't seem like too much to handle, so let's just jump him. Yeah, this guy's kind of a joke. The skeletons before him were harder. Yeah, pretty free fight though. I struggled with those skeletons, but man was this guy ever easy. Should go down just about now. And I know he's gonna give us a good drop. Yes, 17 silver, exactly what I wanted. I thought it said 12. All right. Now we can do the last boss. And after all that, we finally reached the big bad of Scholomance, Dark Master Gandalf. He's the prized pupil of Kel'Thuzad and Ross Frostwhisper. He was so gifted in the arcane and necromantic arts, Kel'Thuzad appointed him to run the school in his place when the Lich King needed him elsewhere. I think Gandalf is a pretty neat fight. His first ability is Arcane Missiles, which cast spells at us over time. Then he has Curse of the Dark Master, which reduces our strength and stamina. Third, he has Shadow Shield, which reflects and absorbs damage. And his final ability, which is the interesting one, is Shadow Portal. It teleports us to one of the 6 rooms we just cleared and we have to fight our way back to him. I mean, it's not insanely groundbreaking compared to some of the fights in Modern WoW, but I like when classic bosses have some neat abilities. His loot may actually be even cooler than his fight. We're looking at a ring drop, a whopping 2 plate helmet drops, a cool sword, and plate bracers. Lots of really cool stuff to look forward to here. So let's take on the big guy. Oh my god, he turned me a skeleton. Oh my god, I do so little damage. I'm back to being me. I will admit this fight is pretty cool. For a classic fight to be teleporting you around and stuff, it's pretty neat. It's a really good way to farm cloth, because every time he teleports me into these rooms, they all just drop cloth. What the? Did he teleport me into the same room? Is that how he's already in here? We're almost there. Can we kill him before he portals us again? The answer is no. Okay, this should be it. Bam! And that's Scholomance done. Nice! Bracers. We did get a drop. That's pretty big. And with that, all of Scolomance's main bosses were defeated. But if you remember back to when we fought Krastenov, he dropped the Blood of the Innocents. This item can actually be used to summon an additional boss, so let's go do that. So, if we go through here, using the Blood of the Innocents that dropped from Dr. Krastenov, we can actually summon his master. Wait, let's get a cinematic shot. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's flying around. Here he comes. Okay, secret boss time. So Scolomance's secret boss is Kurtonos the Herald. He's a forsaken vampire, the master of Dr. Krastenov, and the reason Krastenov's victims are always drained of blood. And he's a pretty cool fight, just like the last one. He has 2 forms, humanoid and gargoyle, and he has different abilities well in each. While he's in his humanoid form, he mainly focuses on debuffing you, hitting you with abilities like Curse of Tongues, which reduces your spellcasting speed by 50%. Next he has Disarm, which disarms you for 10 seconds. Then he has Dominate Mind, which he probably won't use. And finally he has Shadow Bolt Volley, which just blasts us for a bunch of damage. And then he can toggle into his gargoyle form, where he has abilities like Swoop, which just does arcing damage in front of him, and Wing Flap, which blows us backwards. Let's move on to loot. He's got some pretty nice stuff. He's got those ever so desirable plate boots, some plate shoulders, and a necklace drop. I don't foresee too many issues with this fight, so let's give him a shot. Kinda hurts. Stunnable? Nope. Ow, this guy kinda really hurts. I don't know which form I prefer him in. Honestly, he does so much damage in both. Well, this seems to have stabilized a bit. But there's a positive here. We haven't been mind controlled, so we still get to fight him. We still have lay on hands if there's an emergency, so going well. He shot me through the... Oh my god, what a clutch lay on hands. And he dropped nothing. Oh my god. That was as close as I think a fight could be. And the funny thing is we did that for 0 loot. That's crazy. With Kurtonos down, we've defeated the last boss of Old Scholomance. And man was it ever a close fight. But unfortunately, that's where this episode ends today. Hey everyone, just want to say thank you so much for watching this episode. The amount of support I got on the lore intro of the last episode was really shocking to me, so I'm glad everyone liked it as much as they did, and Obviously, I did one for this video, so I hope you like that one too. But those will definitely be something I continue doing going forward. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, join the Discord, all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next episode. See ya. Bye.